Good evening, everyone, and special thanks to those of you that took the time to follow me on Instagram because you are helping my return to the modeling industry, which has changed since the old days, and social media is a big part of it, which I'm not that good at to begin with. And, now I kind of have to do it professionally, kind of, sort of, or figure that out. And Instagram confuses me. I know, I'm older than I look, but older than I look because, one of the things I have done since the old days of modeling is anti-aging products on my face, even though I'm a boy. All boys should do it because it makes you stay prettier longer. Not that we could ever be as pretty as the females, but nonetheless, it, makes us look less lines, makes us look less, simian or Cro-Mag looking. And I guess since I ended up back in this industry, it's good that that was drilled into my head back in the mid 2000s. So yeah, anti-aging, it's for everybody now. Clinique, give me free shit. But now, what I wanted to talk about today, because I've mentioned it a lot, is narcissists arguing tactics. You ever try to argue with a narcissist? They're never wrong, and they do things like triangulation, bringing in other. Wait, not that kind of triangulation. You get out of here, Clinton. No, give me a succubus. No, Clinton. Hillary's got better witchcraft powers than me, so old Bill can slip in here every now and again and kind of possess me. I want to have some fun. Let me use your body. You ain't using it. I could get your tail. Okay. I gotta. It's my little joke for today. You like that little spiel? Trying something new. People said mix it up, so there's my little Bill Clinton's trying to possess me thing. Cause it's a voice I can still do. Which some voices are hard for me with my laryngitis-ridden voice. And I want to lighten up some of this dark narcissistic abuse topics, which, let's face it, can get dark, but it's important and it's got to be known, especially if you stumbled across this channel, which means you're either going through it or you have gone through it. And what I want to talk about today is narcissist arguing tactics. And I actually have 6 of them because everybody seems to like numbered lists because at least you have some idea where this video is going, even though I do tend to wander off because I have no script. At best, I have a bullet list. I don't always have them, but I tend to on numbered ones. So, as you know, narcissists have extremely fragile egos, and a lot of times they think they're never wrong. They think they are right by definition with, I just know, and because I said so, things like that. So when you try to argue with a narcissist, understand the game is rigged. However, there are ways, to deal with it. But foremost, you must understand the narcissist's arguing tactics. If you know their tactics, you know them when you see them, you know them when they're throwing at you, and maybe you know how to respond to them. It all depends on the situation. So remember that narcissists, especially in an argument, will do anything to win the argument. They'll dominate, bully, deceive, humiliate, whatever they have to do. Anything's fair game for them. Ooh, fair game. I don't like that word. Reminds me of a certain group that I have friends who escaped from. Yeah, y'all know what I'm talking about. I didn't say it. Don't stalk me. Certain group. I'm nobody. Narcissistic arguing tactics, once you learn them, can be a predictable pattern of behaviors. Because once you learn what narcissism is and narcissistic abuse and borderline personality disorder, cluster B disorders in general, they do have a predictable pattern of behavior, but it is erratic and they do shift quite rapidly. So you kind of have to know the specific cluster B person a little bit so you know which ones they rely on more and when they come out. I could predict my mother's behavior like that. It's like, oh, switch up. Oh, here it comes. Ooh, here come the threats. I love the threats. That kind of thing. So the main 6 arguing tactics of narcissists. Number 1, the narcissist will argue in bad faith when in this type of disagreement. You know, a normal person would listen, be honest, and explain their disagreement and try to do it factually as best they can, like arguing politics with somebody. You know, if I'm arguing politics with somebody who is, say, a Reaganite, I would bring up undeniable facts about voodoo economics, like how during the Reagan administration, the national debt was tripled during that. You know, the voodoo economics didn't, you know, the whole idea of cut the taxes and revenue goes up. No, no, no. Well, that was George W. Bush who said that, but he was just doing again what Reagan did, and how it basically it exploded the deficit and actually doubled the tax burden on the working class because the burden was cut at the top. Yeah, doesn't make sense. I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds on voodoo economics, although those of you that are of the right-wing mindset, they always come at me with this, like, oh, well, you know, what about the small businesses? And I get your point. Fair enough. We should keep the taxes on. I want to make this point because it's important. We should keep the taxes on like the small business people lower, not like crazy Reagan low, but we can compromise it like George H.W. Bush low, which would be like 36% for people making over $250,000. However, here's the fatal flaw that the right wing can't answer for. They want less tax brackets. We need more. Why? Yes, do not, you know, soak the job creator as a small business person. Fine. But what about the 0.1%? What about the person who's making 100 million a year? Should the person making 1 million a year be paying the same as the 100 million? No, the 100 million, that's where you get to the whole oligarchy, and you need to essentially set up the law of diminishing returns like there was in the New Deal era, where the person at the top's like, well, I'm already loaded, and you know, if I keep going up, my tax bracket's going to be so high that it's not worth it anymore, so I'll make room for somebody else. But no, greed is good is still prevalent. But that is just an example of arguing in good faith, using, you know, actual data, because one can look up what for example, I'm using this as an example because it's undeniable. You can look up what the national deficit grew to during the Reagan administration. Those are undeniable facts that have been recorded. You know, anybody can look them up in this day and age. They exist. Same with, like, if you're going to argue inflation, there's inflation calculators and stuff. But a narcissist won't do that. They'll argue in bad faith. They'll just make stuff up. Facts don't matter. The rules don't apply to them, so they don't have to prove their point. They don't have to have facts or logic. If they say it, it's true, and they'll just get more upset, more angry when you try to challenge them or expect them to actually defend their point, because in their mind, if it's coming out of their mouth, it's by definition true. If they think it, therefore it is true. 2, their second tactic, fallacies, nonsense, word salad, platitudes. This tactic's used when they effectively can't argue with you, like they can't put an argument together. They don't have a cohesive sentence to throw together to challenge you. So they'll just keep talking and try to filibuster you with, you know, nonsense. A lot of times my mother would do that, and I'd be like, that wasn't even a sentence. Like, that wasn't even a sentence. I don't just keep talking until he gives up. I would never give up. INFJs never give up. The impossible just takes longer. Yeah, that kind of thing. So, yeah, in this tactic, they'll again break from reality, and not only will they make up their own facts, but with fallacies, they'll contradict themselves, sometimes in the same sentence, sometimes in the same paragraph, and then they'll get angry when you call that out. It's like, wait a minute, you just said this a minute ago, now you're saying that. The two don't go together, so which is it? Pick one. Yeah. That's a big one. Like, it's like, well, you said, all right, an example would be like some of my family members back in the day when I was graduating high school in 05, I'm like, man, I don't know about, you know, I'm going to go to night school because I wanted to be a professional firefighter. I'm like, you got to be 18 to apply. I was already an EMT. I was taking fire science at night, running ambulance, applying, which is what you're supposed to do. Any recruiter for any major city fire department will tell you that. Like, no, you must focus on getting your bachelor's degree. It's so important. And true, it would help me advance in the officer ranks, but it's like, you got to be a firefighter before you can be a lieutenant or a captain. In fact, you have to be a firefighter for 5 years before you can even sit for the lieutenant's exam. So the whole like degree thing, even though I was taking night classes in fire science and emergency management, but nonetheless, any degree is a good degree, and you know, you just have to have it. That's just what you're supposed to do. Recession happened. I told my story about why I couldn't become a firefighter for years because, budget cuts and all that. But so I get the all precious Bachelor of Science degree, and I graduate cum laude at that. And then, it's like, "Raw, why do you expect a better job than someone who didn't graduate high school?" It's like, "Oh, you told me for years this was what's all important." No, 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 no. Now it's like 2015, and they're like, "No, it's all about trades. We told you to go into trades." I'm like, "No, actually, I wanted to explore going to Votech because they had like a law enforcement kind of surveillancy thing. And when I was first starting high school in 2001, I wanted to be an FBI agent. That changed after the Patriot Act. But nonetheless, I looked into that, and they're like, "No, that's for losers, college." And then they try to rewrite history. It's like, so you were the same people who like browbeated me into getting a degree, and any degree is a good degree. But now it's, oh no, it's all about trade. So somehow, there's the fallacy. I was supposed to know as like a 14-year-old, like, you know, by the time I'm 30-ish, so 10 years after I would graduate Votech, there's going to be a lot of openings in these trades. So I should see that coming and prepare for that now, even though it'll be tough getting in the field during these first 10 years. But, 10 years after I'm done, there'll be openings. I'm supposed to know that as like a 14-year-old kid. That's their logic. It's like, well, I'm saying trades are important now, so you should apply that knowledge retroactively. Yeah, I don't have a time machine. I'd like one, but I don't have it. And of course, they'll just spew platitudes and act like it's the deepest advice that anyone has ever given. Number 3, provoking, bullying, and intimidating. Well, they'll get in your face and threaten you, do whatever they have to do for you to just be like, "Okay, you're right, I give up." If it's a work situation, they'll intimidate you, threaten unjust punishment, for something that you didn't do. But, that, "Oh, I'm the boss, so if I said, if you don't tell me how perfect and right I am, then I'll punish you unjustly." And that's why there's the EEOC. They always crumble when you mention that. And they'll try to provoke your anger. Be careful, INFJs, so then they can play the victim, which is another one of their favorite games. But yes, if they can't win the argument, it's a narcissist. If you can't win, cheat, kind of thing. 4, big one. Lying, denying, and changing definitions. So, yeah, as I mentioned before, they'll just straight up lie and think nothing of it. Narcissists are good at it. They'll deny. They'll try to rewrite history. That's another one of their favorite ones. Like, "Oh, I didn't say that," or "That never happened." The best is when they say that never happened and you have it on film. It's like, "Oh, this didn't happen." "No." Yeah, my mother did that too. "No, it didn't happen." It's like, here it is. Well, it's even time-stamped and dated. Deny that. Yeah. It's hard. It's getting harder for you now, isn't it, Boomer? Technology's a bitch. So, and then they'll change the definitions of what they meant. It's like, "No, that doesn't mean that," or "That's not what I meant by that." It's like, "That's word for word what you said. I have a really good memory." Well, whenever they go, "Well," they're going to try to BS you. And, they know they're caught. They know when they're caught, but they can never admit it. Never. Never. I'll stand by NAFTA. All right, he's gone again. I guess I got to do a better protection spell. 5, deflecting, attacking, projecting. So they'll try to deflect. They'll try to change the subject to something else. "I'm done with this. It doesn't matter." Yeah, it doesn't matter because you're losing and you know it, but you'll never admit it. "But I'm going to make you," kind of thing. They'll attack. They'll, something that triggers you, they'll try to push that button. That goes along with changing the subject, but they'll, they're trying to get you to want to give up and run away because here come the slander and all that and the projection. And they'll make it all your fault, or they'll try to, or especially if you call them out, if like, you're lying, you're being dishonest, you're slandering, "No, you're the one doing it." Classic projection. They'll accuse you of the very thing that they are doing. And finally, involving others and acting out revenge fantasies. So when a narcissist really knows they're beaten, you're not going to back down. When in doubt, triangulate. Triangulation got me to be president. So, yeah, they'll triangulate and they'll bring other people in, some of their enablers, their lackeys, their flying monkeys who are just like, "Whatever you say, boss." Yeah. And then they'll, try to help the narcissist rewrite history and be like, oh no, it means that now. They're right. Yeah, yeah, when are they wrong in your eyes? Yeah, that's what I thought. That kind of stuff. And of course, they'll threaten revenge. Be like, well, if you tell people that, things are going to happen to you. Yeah, what things? Things. Okay. Yeah. Well, you don't have anything I want, so what are you going to take from me? They hate that. Yeah. You know, and well, I'll make sure that you lose. Lose what? Lose what? Yeah, that was, recent. And not too many months ago, that was me because I didn't have anything left to lose. So yes, they'll exact revenge and, threaten bullying and retaliation, or sometimes they'll just straight up retaliate if they have enough enablers and lackeys to do it. Trust me, I know. Been through it. So those are 6 arguing tactics that a narcissist will use when you're in an argument with them and you're not backing down and you're winning and they know they're wrong, but they'll never admit it because they're narcissists and they can't. Thank you for watching this video to the end. I'm sorry I'm posting a little later today, but I was busy. I finally closed my father's estate, even though he died 4 years ago, because my mother never got around to it. And I had a bunch of professional modeling sites I had to put my profile up and show my agent that I did them, because these are a thing now, and they weren't in the old days, so I didn't know what I was doing. So it took a while. But nonetheless, they're done. I'm being a, very proactive professional. Yeah. So thank you again for those of you that made it to the end. Please like and subscribe, comment below. It'd be cool if you donate to the channel too, or it'd be cool if you follow me on Instagram to help my slowly re-emerging modeling career that's happening. Remember to trust your intuition. If you are arguing with someone you believe to be a narcissist, look for these patterns, and that'll, give you no doubt that you're dealing with a narcissist, and act accordingly. To know you're dealing with a narcissist, you must first see the pattern of behavior that tells you, I think I'm arguing with a narcissist. And remember, when arguing with a narcissist, they have no integrity, so all rules are off the table. Stick to facts and logic that they can't deny, because there's, no matter how narcissistic they are, there's certain things, if you have enough proof, if there's enough data, they can't deny the truth. And if you stick to the truth, they have a hard time blame shifting on you. They'll project, but there's no way they can actually put the blame on you, at least in the eyes of anyone who thinks rationally, i.e. people who aren't their enablers. So I hope that was helpful and informative, and that you continue to support this channel and help it grow, because I truly believe that this information is important for many people to know, and it can save a lot of pain for a lot of people. And I hope that, even though I have very little talent, that I'm presenting it in a way that's at least mildly entertaining or nonetheless unique. I know I'm eccentric and weird, but that's kind of my thing, and I roll with it.